So, let us recapitulate a bit. We have talked about dominant strategy equilibrium, and then we have discussed Nash equilibrium. As I have already said, that the Cournot equilibrium that we looked at in Cournot competition is actually a Nash equilibrium. If possible, we said we should look for dominant strategy equilibrium, and in fact, if dominant strategy equilibrium exists, then there are also Nash equilibria. In fact, as you can argue by yourself, and I will leave that as an exercise, that a dominant strategy equilibrium is also a Nash equilibrium. Why should players play the Nash equilibrium? One particular idea which has been advanced is the idea of a focal point. So, the idea is, if a particular set of players play a game repeatedly over time, then they would figure out what is the best way to play the game, and then they would arrive at a Nash equilibrium. An example of a focal point perhaps is a situation, suppose, where you have to meet a friend, but you do not know where this person is. Similarly, maybe your friend also wants to meet you, but he also does not know where you could be. But since you have known each other for a long time, you can automatically guess where this person is with a fairly strong probability. So, this would be explaining or talking about Nash equilibrium from a behavioral point of view. As you have seen, of course, the great advantage of Nash equilibrium is that there is always one, but there may be many Nash equilibria, which we have argued before is maybe not be a disadvantage, but to the extent that you would like to arrive at a single prediction for a particular social situation, having multiple Nash equilibria might not be an advantage. We have also talked about mixed strategy equilibria. Now, mixed strategy equilibria might be a little worrying for you in the sense that, do people actually play mixed strategy equilibria? We have shown mixed strategy equilibria in the context of games like football and penalty kicking and so on. What is the usefulness of this notion of mixed strategy when it comes to, say, a firm? Can a business which is trying to decide on the price of its products or how much to produce, can it ever adopt a mixed strategy for deciding on the level of output or prices? Well, again it might sound strange, but there are situations where we can show that mixed strategies do make sense. But the other situation where mixed strategies make a lot of sense is in terms of games played between employees in a firm and the games played between employees and the employers. And there is a fair amount of literature on organizational economics where you will find instances of such games. Finally, let me talk about repeated games. So, obviously, all the games that we have looked at so far are situations where the game is played only once. This is, of course, a great simplification. It does not really happen that firms meet once in the market and decide on their output or prices and then they go away forever. Most situations of social interaction tend to be repeated. So, the kind of results that you have got or shown till now may not hold if the games are actually repeated. And in fact, as you have said, that for the prisoner's dilemma and for the Bertrand equilibrium, repetition actually provides a way for cooperation. These topics would be far too advanced for this course, but I would nevertheless ask you to look up on your own and see how that might happen.